Hello. Welcome, everybody. Andy put me in charge today, so good luck, everybody. We are joined by, of course, Andy DeCose and someone you may recognize from Haunted Collector, Paranormal Caught On Camera, author, lecturer, researcher, Brian J. Cano. So welcome. Thank you for coming on today.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's our pleasure.
So, Andy, have you seen Paranormal Caught On Camera?
I have seen some. I do recognize Brian from possibly that and other TV shows because I watch a lot of reality and Blaze and I record a lot of the paranormal stuff. So when everyone's gone off to bed and I can't sleep, I just go downstairs and watch it. So I've definitely seen on TV. So it's all good.
I'm the residual haunt of the airwaves. I just pop on at random hours. I remember being in Wales for a tour 2 years ago. And after everybody had retired to their rooms and getting ready for bed, turning on the TV, there I am right after an episode of The In-Betweeners. And I said, oh, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Is that a weird feeling?
I'm well used to it at this point, but it's always weird that, you know, especially on Paranormal Caught On Camera, there's lots of different talking heads. So at any time there could be anyone, but I always seem to turn it on when I pop on. I have a Brian sense, I guess.
Spidey senses are tingling.
Yeah,
they are.
That's it. Synchronicity. That's what it is.
How many seasons have you been on that show now?
I've been on there since day one, and we're currently, I call it season 7, but they took the episodes that we filmed in 2024 and broke them into 2 units. And in the States, they're airing on Max as well as a travel, but they're labeling them as season 8. So I'm a little confused about that. But as long as it's getting out there, I'm happy.
Right. You've seen some like crazy videos on there, right? What's the best?
That's a tough one. Now, Paranormal Caught On Camera, traditionally, we have proper seasons, 26 episode seasons, with the exception of these last couple. And that means we're watching a lot of videos. And in each episode, we watch 7 videos. Sometimes they're meaty, so we'll only really review 6 on the episode. But not only do we have to watch the video, we'll watch ancillary videos or support videos or other things that have to do with the person or the location. And then personally, I do a lot of research looking into it, so I have something intelligent to say. The weird ones, the scary ones, the head scratchers, there have been plenty. And there's also been ones where I'm thinking, no, that's not real. That's fake. Oh, I know how that's done. But I think one that remains at the top for me through all these seasons is one called Aswang. And it's a closed security camera in what looks like an alleyway. It might be a courtyard of a private building, but at the far end of the camera's view, you see a portcullis and the street beyond. A figure walks halfway by the portcullis, turns, morphs through it, and as it approaches the camera, as it's walking down the alley, it seems to take shape. Clothes, cargo shorts, a shirt, and features come onto the face. Now, of course, when we're talking about security cameras, we're talking about low resolution, low frame rates. It could just be the artifacting of it. But watching it morph through the bars and then seem to continue to take shape as it's walking by, I watched that thing at least 24 times over and over and over and over again, trying to pick it apart. And I couldn't necessarily. And I feel like those ones that remain a mystery, even if there is an explanation for it, I love those ones.
Yeah. See, it's about the mystery, Nicole. We don't want to know what's going on.
I want to know. So this is a recurring theme. If you could know everything about the paranormal, would you want to know?
That's a good question. It's one we ask often. It's the entire reason we spend our weekends, all hours of the night, setting up, sitting, breaking down, pretty much spending the good years of our lives doing nothing in a dark room. And not the fun things in the dark room, just sitting around waiting for something to make noise, making something light up.
Yeah.
Yet you sit there for 4 or 5, 6 hours and nothing happens. But the minute something does, you're excited and it resets that meter. And now you're all in all over again. But if I could know everything, I probably would say yes. But then I would probably be disappointed immediately after, because then what's the point of life then? There would be no more mysteries to discover.
That's my take on it. It would be good to know, but once you know, there's nothing else after. There's other stuff. There's normality, which is boring. So the paranormal is what keeps us ticking. So it's nice to have that to keep going back to try and decipher, to try and work out what's what, and keep getting it wrong, I suppose. But
we do get a lot. We do get a lot wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Can I show you a video? So this was done in Cannock Chase in the United Kingdom. I met some guys a couple of weeks ago. They did some filming. I had to come back home, and they went to the German cemetery. Now they caught what looks like an apparition on film. So I'm just going to get it loaded up now, because this is one that was on Monday. I just need to make sure I've still got it. No, I can't. That's right.
A lot of the show is also like waiting for Andy to figure out technical things.
No, because
you're talking to the tech guy here.
Yeah, I've got the video.
Watch a video, you've got to do the narrator's voice from Peacock. Like, Cannock Chase, UK. A man walking down the streets. Blah 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 blah. Did you catch that?
Yeah. But I can't find it, so I will find it. It is on the computer somewhere. I just don't know where it is at the moment in time. So
copy that. Well, that was a great video. I'm glad to have watched it.
Yeah. I thought it was there ready, but it's vanished. Right, we do have a question for you.
It's like a ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So this is from Sober Carpa, and he's saying, "Hi Brian, what was your weirdest experience, if any, with objects at John Zaffis Museum?"
Ooh.
Sober Carper is a wise individual, making it specifically with objects at John Zaffis Museum, because me and the Ziggity have had plenty of crazy times just hanging out at his house. But John's museum, it's a part of his home. So whereas it used to be in the basement, it is now in a separate building, separate yet connected. It's in this barn structure. So when you walk out on the deck, you walk to the second floor. There's a little anteroom there where there's some objects and there used to be chairs set up. And then beyond that is his office. That's where we hang out. And sometimes we'll be talking, we'll be catching up, and we'll hear bangs or rattling or whistling coming from downstairs. Downstairs is the museum. So like we'll stop. Whatever we're talking about, we'll stop and be like, oh, yep, it's acting up today. All right, there's something going on down there. And we'll go down there, and they could film an episode of Hoarders in John's museum because there's so many objects, from cases, things that people have given him, things that he's personally collected. And for the most part, because John is the haunted collector, people just send him items.
Yeah.
Now, the weirdest experience, it's hard to tell. I mean, I really can't. There's not a lot of extreme activity that goes on down there because the museum, the whole point of it is to lessen the activity. Things are bound, things are blessed so that it doesn't go crazy. And again, when you get that many haunted objects in close proximity, just the way things react with each other, if he didn't take those measures, there would be a lot of clashing going on. And we see this out in the fields when objects that haven't been cleansed or blessed react with each other, sometimes to very noisy and sometimes potentially dangerous ways.
Yeah. That is very interesting. What if you could go, just quickly, and I'm just getting the video ready. If you could go anywhere to do an investigation, like I'm just trying to think, if you could, on your own, so just you, say with a camera, EMF meter, whatever, like basic equipment, where would you go?
The White House. Definitely the
Really?
White House. I mean, there's plenty of great spots. There's plenty of haunted locations. We live on a haunted planet. But to be given access to an area, to a specific building that has consistently had high levels of stress throughout the years. It's not like a haunted house. Oh, someone was murdered here. Oh, back in the Civil War, this happened here. No. Yesterday, there was stress at the White House. Last month, there was stress at the White House. The history, it burned down, they rebuilt it, the secrets, all the things that are present there. And who knows, are there any presidential spirits roaming those halls? Maybe. I would love to find out.
We could go talk to Lincoln, at the columns. You actually did a really interesting experiment with the Lincoln flag. You want to talk about that a little bit? Because that was really cool.
The Columns Museum in Milford, was it Pennsylvania or New York? Pennsylvania, because it's right by that tri-border. Amazing place. I don't think it gets quite the exposure it deserves because not only is it a great museum, but they have amazing objects there. They have a girder from the Twin Towers. I think they have a piece of Charles Lindbergh's plane, but their big claim to fame is the Lincoln flag. The flag, it was actually the bunting at the Ford's Theater after President Lincoln was shot. They needed something to cradle him in. They pulled the bunting off the edge of his balcony, and obviously he was bleeding. He bled out onto that flag, and it's been confirmed. And it is there behind glass. This is literally if we wanted to go clone Lincoln tonight, we know where to get the DNA. But we did this. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, and because we couldn't physically get access to it because it's behind glass, I'm not necessarily a believer in fixed hauntings, that this spirit has to be in this spot all the time. But if we're to get these residual echoes, if we're to get any kind of contact, let's see what we can do. And because this was a object connected with a tragic and somber moment, in those moments, they didn't know, is the president dead? Is he alive? When they brought him, when they took him away from him, okay, this cloth went with him and was there in his final moments. So it could be even surmised that whatever passing on, whatever energy, whatever transaction happened, that cloth was there for. So we lined everyone up and we treated it almost like a wake. And we said, okay, everybody line up. We're going to do this very somber. We're not going to do any hokey tricks. We're not going to do a typical EVP session, but we're going to record. And everyone take a couple of moments from front of the flag. Imagine Lincoln was laid out right here. And let's see. All right, just pay your respects. And it was amazing because not only did everyone follow directions, which can sometimes be hard in a big group, but when I asked people afterwards, what'd you say? What'd you think? People had very poignant things, poignant thoughts. A lot of them thanked him for his service and what he did. Some expressed sorrow for, this is horrible. This happened to you. Other people went in other extreme directions, but it was all very relevant. And I feel people let their emotions wash out onto it. They didn't separate it. It was almost like we were at a funeral. And I feel we got a number of EVPs from that session. Nicole, do you remember there's a word that kept coming up over and over and over again? Do you remember what that was?
I don't. I remember there was a couple curses in there, I think, and
it was something like victory. It wasn't
Victor. It was Victor.
Victor.
Not like, it didn't seem like the name Victor. I mean, it might have been, but
it was the word that came across. It could have been taken one of two ways. We're like, all right, is there a Victor that works here? Is he a maintenance guy, or is it Victor? Like, yes, even though I died, I'm the victor. I won. My policies played out. It's an interesting time, and we weren't there for that long. So I think when everyone's intent is focused and united, and we're all there for that common reason, you can get results right away. You don't have to sit in a room and stare at something for 6 hours, although sometimes that's exactly what you have to do.
But do you think that, because you were saying about emotions, that when people were asking like their own questions, do you think that was drawn from them, from the energy, or they were self-conscious of doing it?
It's a difficult question because, again, we're taking it on faith. And again, I have no reason to disbelieve them, but anyone, there could be 50 museums that say, hey, we've got the Lincoln flag. And I'm sure a lot of them do.
Yeah.
All you have to say is, hey, George Washington slept here. And now we're going to be thinking in a certain way. Any place you go to where the tour guide or the docent says, oh, this is what happened. These are our spirits. This is who you're going to encounter. Automatically, you're preloaded to expect that. And the novice investigator will look for that. But for the rest of us, and I gotta hand it to Full Moon Paranormal, these cats stayed wide open because we were open to anything that came through, whether it had to do with the flag, the girder, or the attendees. And sometimes, yes, it would be great to talk to President Lincoln, but at the same time, if we did, how would we know? I've never carded a spirits. I've never gotten an ID flashed for me, verifying identity. But I mean, through the years, I feel like, have I spoken to potential celebrity or historic figures? I think I have, but I have no way to know.
No, that's the
it's
thing.
It's hard to think with like historic figures and celebrities, because even if it was just, a regular everyday spirit that worked there, they still know about these historic figures. So like if you ask them, finish the Gettysburg Address, they could probably still finish the first part of it because it's common knowledge.
There's also something in parapsychological circles known as super ESP. So pretty much if someone knows it, then it can be accessed. And it's very much the way the internet works. It's not in one place. It's all on different servers on different computers. So whatever you're searching for is accessed and then brought to you together. So if you're a psychic or you're just trying to reach out, you're trying to utilize that, you might be thinking, oh, I'm talking to spirit. But meanwhile, you might be getting it from the heads of various people who may not even be physically on the location. But as long as someone knows it, that information is accessible.
Same concept as kind of a collective consciousness where that information is all out there, just ready to be plucked out.
This is the same reason that they feel could be one of the explanations for reincarnation experiences, that these young children, and again, in parapsychology, they hate talking about ghosts. They don't want to accept it. That's the last thing, and they'll go down kicking and screaming, go, it's a ghost. But one of the explanations is that, okay, super ESP, that child is reaching out, doesn't know how it knows the information, so it just assumes, I have it in my head, it must be me. The parents will then go, oh yeah, that street exists. Oh, I've passed by that house. It must be a past life. And while the information is correct, the explanation for how the individual got it might not exactly be right.
Yeah.
It's $1 million question. Do you believe in ghosts?
Ooh.
Now, if we're going to discuss terminology, for me and what I believe what the field should adopt, ghost should be synonymous with residual, because a ghost is an echo. It is what it is. You can't really interact with it. You can experience it. You could document it, capture it in some way. Spirit should be synonymous with intelligent. So do I believe in ghosts? Sure. We have ghosts all the time. When this airs and it's not live, it's an echo. It's an evidence of what was. Yeah. So this, and I joked before that I'm the residual haunt of the airwaves because of the amount of times is in repeat. Yes. Do I believe in ghosts? Oh, absolutely. Do I believe in spirit? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Cool. Just going back to you saying about kids knowing stuff like reincarnation. I was listening to a podcast a bit ago, and there was a kid. He had a book. I think he was on like 4 or 5 years old, this little kid, and it was about Russia. And he opened the pages and he goes, "Oh, that's where I used to live." And then he proceeded to tell them about what his job was. Who's like some sort of emperor and who's in charge of all these different people and had all these different grounds. And there's no way, his parents were saying there is no way he could have known any of this, because even his parents didn't know any of it, and it was not like anything he'd been taught in school. So with that knowledge, where did that knowledge come from if it wasn't reincarnated? Or could it be some sort of, I've gone down the line of, could it be some sort of hitchhiker effect where the information, I suppose, is downloaded into them without actually being a being taking over the person's body? Does that make sense?
Well, again, the super ESP hypothesis still fans out there. Super ESP doesn't necessarily need to be people local or in the room. Just again, if it's out there, if someone knows who that person was, what that job was, what it entailed, then maybe that child is plugging into it. There's something known as ESP and personalization, in that, okay, the mind doesn't know what to do with this information, doesn't realize that it is external, so the mind will internalize it and make it part of its own personality. This is where a lot of multiple personality disorder and schizophrenics intersect, where yes, they're getting this information. Oh, multiple personalities. Are they multiple personalities within, or are they just trying to parse whatever data is coming in from outside? Now, another explanation for that could be cryptomnesia, where, and this happens to me all the time, I'll fall asleep on the couch. The TV is still on. Whatever is playing, whatever is happening, makes its way into my dreams. I start dreaming about it. And here in the States, a lot of times at 3 a.m. is when things repeat. So if I fell asleep watching South Park, and then in my dreams something's going on, and that episode starts playing out again, my brain goes, oh, wait a minute, you just saw that. Oh, you're on the couch, wake up. But a lot of people don't. They'll take that information. They're watching a documentary, a true crime, whatever. Subconsciously, they'll hear the information. And where cryptomnesia comes in their waking hours, they'll spout some fact or something, and they're like, oh, I don't know how I knew this. And the parent will go, or whatever person will go, yeah, there's no way they could have possibly have known that. But yeah, there is. And that just means forgetting where you got the information from. Additionally, there's paramnesia, where the parapsychologist will go in, and you're not going to talk to the child right away. You'll talk to the parent, and they'll say, okay, what's going on? Well, he said this, and this. And actually, what you just told me right now, there could be elements of paramnesia in there, because you're the middle person. you might be getting the story slightly off. So I'm getting information that is not correct, and it's not necessarily what the child said.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Parapsychology, so interesting.
Yeah. Right, I've got that video if you would like to watch it. It's only a few seconds long. So this is in the dead of the night in German cemetery in Cannock Chase. It was used, I think it's prisoners of war from the First World War, for possibly the Second World War as well. Cannock Chase is like the UK version of Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
So I will play it now. And just I'll try and, I can't zoom in on it, sorry. But you can see what's going on. Do you want me to play it again?
Can you hit full screen?
Sorry?
Two
Can
over.
you hit the full screen?
2 to the right.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I can't see that small.
No, it just it covers half one of my monitors, so I can't see half the stuff, but it doesn't matter. Right. I'll play it normal speed, or do you want me to slow it down?
No, you can play it normal.
Okay. There we go.
I feel like I saw it better when it was small.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything there. I saw it when it was small. No. Oddly enough.
Right. Well, I'll slow it down to half speed, and then it fades out.
I might be crazy. I don't see anything except for a red circle.
It's inside the circle.
I figured it's inside the circle.
Yeah. So it wasn't anyone's shadow. I can see it. I could see it straight away. It was not, and there's something walking between the trees, but part of it is going in front of some of the headstones, and then it's going behind it. So it's like, depending on what row of headstones you are, depends on whether you can see the bottom of it. I'll try it again. Thoughts?
I still don't see it.
Now, Andy, did you make this capture?
No. It's one of the guys. Is a guy called Ben. I was out filming with him on week Sunday gone, but they were staying over for a few nights. I couldn't because I had work, so they stayed like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they'd gone to the cemetery. I can't remember what night it was, and then they caught that. But they'd been in there a couple of hours and what have you, so it wasn't like they was getting stuff after stuff. They was just filming, and they managed to get that.
So you're telling me you weren't even there when this was captured?
No.
Okay. This is the crux of any video that one watches. And when you say, I've got a video to show you, immediately 3 words come to mind. I wasn't there.
Yep.
So it comes down to belief. It comes down to faith. I either have to trust you as an investigator, trust the person who put it forth. I don't know there wasn't a groundskeeper there. I don't know that it wasn't someone in their group. I don't know if it was a homeless guy. I don't know. So it's impossible for me to glean any kind of intelligent response or even say, oh, this is amazing. Now, that being said, on Paranormal Caught on Camera, they like to stay on the positive side of things. So you're going to get someone on the crew going, that's the most amazing capture I've ever seen. Oh, wow. Or you'll get someone else going, well, if that were me, I would think that. And we want to keep the conversation going.
Bit of everything. Yeah.
That being said, then I would come on and go, yeah, I have no idea what that is. Or I just wouldn't be in the segment because they're like, oh, Brian's not adding to the story. I'm not ending.
Yeah. So the guy who sent him, good friends with him. It's not the sort of thing he'd send out, and he's putting himself behind it. And he's in the middle of wanting to do some creating and producing and doing a documentary that he's hoping to go out on Amazon Prime. This is part of some of the footage that he's going to be putting on there. That's what I was up there doing the recording for, because we've been to Cannock Chase a few times. A couple of people that are in the chat have met up with them, and we've had weird stuff go on each time we've gone. So it's not like he'd put it on there for nothing to have. I've been to this cemetery about 5 times, been during the day, been at night. Felt a bit iffy, never really caught anything, but it's so you park up, there's an A-frame gate, you've got to park there, then you walk down from the road. It's open, you've got to walk into like a brick building with a big tomb in the middle. I think it's known as the Unknown Soldier. I'm not 100%, so don't hold me to that. So there's a big tomb in the middle, like sarcophagus type thing. So you can walk around it, then you come out on the other side, there's a little garden, you come back through that, down some steps, and it's all open cemetery. And it's all prisoners of war. I'm sure it's World War One. I'm not 100%, might be some from World War Two. You can get, there's a fence down at the bottom that you can get in, there's a big gap there. But it's not the sort of place that people would go and hang around at night, because it is literally in the middle of nowhere.
And yet your friend was there.
Yeah, but they was going doing. We spoke about the cemetery and all that, and they'd been before.
Yeah,
and there's supposed to be dogman sightings around the area, stroke werewolves. So they was going for that more than anything else. That was the main reason that we went. There was 5 of us in total. There's Simon Riley, Sober Carper, that was asked the question before. He was one of the other guys that we went out with. He was there, but we didn't really get anything. We don't recall anything happening, and on the footage we didn't see anything. Stuff could have been going on, I don't know, but we didn't see it.
Right.
But this is what they got, and that's one of 2 or 3 things that they got over the 4 or 5 days that they were out there doing all this filming. So it's not like it was like, oh, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. It wasn't constant. You know what I mean? It's just odd thing here and there.
So what they have to do now is go back and try to recreate it and see if a person can do it.
We're going to go back in a week or so. Fingers crossed. I've got to go back anyway to send him some data over. So midway for both of us, because he's north and I'm south, is Cannock Chase. So we said we'll meet up. So I'm thinking, yeah, we'll just go to the German cemetery. Because I said I've been during the day, I've been at night, been mid-afternoon, and never really got anything. But unless there's somebody behind walking across, it would have cast a shadow. Possibly it could have been that if someone's got a hoodie on, or I don't know if anyone was wearing a cloak at that time. He didn't say. But that's the only thing, because I've had that where it looks like it's some sort of shadow person and it's been someone walking behind. But then I've had it before where it has been like his shadow.
Play it one more time, but make it fill the whole screen so the viewers can check it out. Like even us, like kick us off.
Yeah, there we go. Make it big screen.
Right there. Right, and I'm going to slow it down to 0.2.
All right.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, maybe I'll see it this time.
It's passing the tree now. Now, for me, if that was a shadow of one of the people that were there, it would have cast in front of the gravestones, the headstones that are nearer to the camera, that are more forefront. So that's why I don't believe it's a shadow of one of the members. And there's only 4 of them there as well.
See, I wasn't getting shadow vibes. I was getting the fact that, okay, you're in the dark. whatever light you've got,
yeah,
whatever's closest will be the best lit, and then just pretty much darkness in the background, because the only thing I noticed were the trees, so there's no detail behind. But somebody back there got that muddy light, and the fact that they're moving. What gets me is how slow they're moving. Yeah, if you're kind of,
I did slow it down, but even on
when
normal
it was
speed,
at first speed,
yeah,
again,
it's still
I'm
quite
trying
slow.
to give you more than I think this video deserves, so just bear with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't gas his head up. He doesn't need it. We're going to be playing this video for the next 3 years anyway.
No, we're not. We're going back to Sasquatch.
Oh,
I know.
well, go back and try to recreate it and see if you can recreate it with a person.
Yeah. I mean, that would put to bed the lighting issue. That, all right, if it was a person, how far back would they have to be to recreate that lighting condition if it were a physical human person?
Yeah.
And then when I say something like that, oh, it's probably a person, like, nope, we went back and we checked. And then that puts that to bed.
Yeah. Cool.
We have
Thank you.
a statement and a question. Baby with a laser says, Brian shares the same birthday as me. He's obviously a cool dude.
So Baby with the laser, that means you also know that we share birthdays with not only George Washington, but Drew Barrymore. So yes, we're in good company.
And question from Og. Out of all the equipment you use, what are you finding the best to get results?
Og.uk, I think for me, it's always been and continues to be my digital audio recorder. Because for me, EVP is the most compelling evidence that I feel I can stand behind. Any of the other equipment we have these days where something lights up or it seems to detect some sort of signal or input, there are so many waves passing through us at all times. And just us saying, okay, yeah, turn your phone off is not enough. There's radio waves, there's whatever going for your Wi-Fi, gamma waves, DC emanations coming from the ground. But an EVP, you're sitting in a quiet room, you and a few other people, and everyone's staying quiet, and you know who's there, you know the situation, you've got a pretty good handle on things, and yet then a voice introduces itself. I mean, I've been doing this for 22 years, and I'm still amazed by EVP. And some of them are better than others. Obviously, you want those Class A's, but the fact that something comes through it all. Now, I've also noticed that, and again, before I mentioned that we live on a haunted planet. So where we are, they are. To that point, I've been noticing on a lot of my recordings this, what sounds like a cocktail party going on in the background. Just this whispering, just this unintelligible yet familiar sounding cadence. And I feel like this is almost like cosmic background radiation. It's maybe some sort of maybe like Nicole said before with the collective unconscious. Yeah, maybe there is. It's been theorized in metaphysical circles that there's an infosphere.
Yeah,
just around our planet. That pretty much everything that's recorded, everything that happens, it's accessible. Maybe this is some echo of that. Maybe just the spirits or higher dimensional beings were getting a little cast off from that. Maybe it's settling down, almost in the same way that you get any piece of technology and it comes with a booklet of rules, that instructions that you don't read. But in it somewhere says, okay, this device is not allowed to interfere with anything else, yet it has to accept any interference that comes to it. So I feel like, yeah, we're getting some interference with EVP. And I think a certain portion of it is coming from us anyway.
Yeah. No, thank you. Do you ever use dowsing rods, or have you ever used dowsing rods? It's a kitty cat.
He demands attention when he wants it. Cat butt. I'm not a fan of dowsing rods, mainly because I hold them and nothing happens. And anyone that I know, as well-meaning as they are, who's like, oh, I love dowsing rods. Oh, and you see this. You see their hands moving. You see they're directing it.
Yeah.
That being said, I use a pendulum, so I'm
not
aware
much.
of the ideomotor effect. I'm aware
Yeah.
of little micro movements, so I'll give a lot of leeway to it. And I know as far as dowsing rods go, there is the those who look for water.
Yeah.
And where to dig wells. And our ancestors who manifest destiny went west and needed to find places to dig to stay alive, found water in that way. And there's something to it. I don't necessarily feel that a spirit is grabbing it and pointing it. I still think it comes from us, that whatever tool we're using, and dowsing very much is just us making ourselves the radio. We're their tuner.
Yeah.
The signal comes in and we have to translate it somehow. And for me, I'm not, but my translation matrix with the dowsing rods is not good. But for the pendulum, I'm better.
Yeah. No, because I've just started using dowsing rods in the last couple of places that I've been to. One of them was at Rendlesham at the UFO landing in Suffolk.
Yeah.
And we got some good readings on that. A couple of people filmed it, and I did some when I was in Cano the other week as well. Sometimes I'll be stood there, and it's like it's just not doing anything for like 5-10 minutes. Then all of a sudden they'll kick in. So I've got the one with got the sleeves on it. So you've literally got to do that to try and just to get it to move a little bit. So just look like pens. What they got expand, you pull out, and then you tilt. It's got a little hinge on it. And I just stand and wait, and I'm doing the talking in my head and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then sometimes it'll go straight away. Sometimes it's like I said, you feel like you've been stood there all day before it does anything. But it seems to work. But I used to do the pendulum as well. I've got like a little chart, and I do it when I'm sat here when I want to find stuff out, and that seems to work. But like you said, I think you have to have that connection, because I believe it does you. Or you do use your own energy and you connect to whatever it is that's around you to make it work.
I believe that is so, because after a dowsing session, I find myself drained. I'm tired, and I say, all right, I gotta stop.
Yeah. I get like that. I never thought of it like that. I just thought it's because I've been sat here just not moving and just waiting. It's like feel like nodding off. Yeah.
Well, there's that too. I've been doing lately these solo missions on YouTube. I call them scared solo missions, and on some of them I've been using my pendulum. And as I'm looking at the footage, all right, you see, my hand is up here. I'm holding it as I'm scrubbing through it and fast forward. My hand is going down, 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 down. As it's just, even though it's a light thing, my arm is getting. You see my arm getting tired.
Yeah, because what I put my elbow on the desk and I lock. You're like I'm going to have a arm wrestle. I do it like that. So and then lock my wrist. I don't know if you can. So it's like that, so that my arm can't go up or down, or twisting movement is very minimal. Your hand does move because you shake a bit and what have you, but not enough to make it like go full circles and what have you. But no, I like the pendulum, and I like like I said, I'm getting into the dowsing rods more now. So I think I'm going to stick with it and see how it goes, because I think that's the only way you can do it.
True. I never trust them, so I always look like a crazy person when I'm using the dowsing rods, because I'm like, okay, I gotta close my eyes and turn around like 6 times so I don't know where I'm facing. And I'm like, okay, point to whatever.
Yeah.
And it works, and I don't know how it works, but
yeah. See, that's what I was getting when I was at Rendlesham, because there's different people at both locations, and I was asking it to point to each person. At Cannock, it was taking a lot longer, but a couple of the people I'd only met that day, and I'd not really heard a lot about them before that. Whereas the ones that I met at Rendlesham, I've met them. Some of them I've met a couple of times before, and others I know through doing the YouTube channel. So it wasn't like it wasn't like I didn't know anyone. So I think there was a connection there with them straight away. But it just seemed to work better at Rendlesham than it did Cannock. So that's it.
So besides your solo missions with Scared, What else do you have coming up? You have your museum in March, right?
Yes,
Your
and
exhibit.
my History of the Paranormal mobile exhibits, I've been touring it for the past few years. My goal is to take it from state to state. And the entire reason that I curated this exhibit is so many people get their sole education about the paranormal from the TV shows. And while I think the TV shows are fine, watch them all, they're entertainment. Be entertained. There's no wrong one to watch. None of them are documentaries, nor do they claim to be. But for people who watch it and think, oh, I'm going to go do that, and then go out and start doing it, they're doing themselves a disservice, because there's so much more that you need to learn. There's a foundation that needs to come before. With anything, you can't watch Grey's Anatomy and become a doctor the next day. You can't watch a cop show and then go start arresting people the next day. You need training, you need knowledge, you need that wisdom. And with that, I've curated an exhibit that is immersive and interactive. And I throw a lot of facts at you, a lot of information, but I try to sneak it in with fun. So if you're having a good time and you're playing games and we're having conversations, I'm there as the host. So I'm giving you anecdotes about the people and the places. If you leave just knowing one or two more names or a concept, that's great. You take it out into the world, you share it with your friends, we all rise together. And the motto is, sometimes in order to move forward, you have to look back. And that's what the History of the Paranormal is about. It didn't start with Jason and Grant.
Yeah, it's been going on for a really long time, right? Like, how long would you say people have been investigating?
I think as long as man has been self-aware. We've seen, I mean, we could talk about ancient aliens, we could talk about cave paintings, we could talk about man's constant obsession with what else is there. The fact that religion exists means we're concerned about, well, who's watching us? Why are we here? Where did we come from? Where are we going? And the paranormal is only such because we don't understand those rules yet. And there's nothing broken about the universe. There's nothing wrong. No one is stuck. We just don't understand how it works.
Yep. Right. I've got some images that was sent over. Which ones do you want me to put up, Nick?
Put the ones of the exhibit up, and then we'll put the flyer up.
Okay. So
when you go through the exhibits, it will take you from belief. Why belief is important. It'll take you through the spiritualist movement of the late 1800s. It'll take you through some of the old tools, some of the old cameras, and some of the old figures that were operating back then. And then it'll ease you into parapsychology, some of the tools we use now. There's a display on curses and what those might be about. This is very much an appetizer sampler of the paranormal. There's so much, like, I wish I could just include everything, but each location I bring it to, I add some more. So it's been steadily growing as it's been going from state to state. And in March of 2025, I'll be taking it down to Raleigh, North Carolina. And I believe this will be the 13th state it's been in. And on the Friday night, I'm doing a very special field trip to the Rhine Research Center. And the Rhine is important. Anyone who's into the paranormal and into parapsychology, that name should sound familiar, because it's where JB and Lois Rhine started their parapsychology lab.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I still want to see it. I have to wait till I can't go all the way to North Carolina. I have to wait till it comes back up here.
Planes exist, hon.
Yeah, but that's a long way to go.
She's got a truck and a trailer.
And all she has to do is bring herself, the blonde, and the two blondes she hangs out with. I've got to bring a whole exhibit. So I don't want to hear that it's hard to get to North Carolina.
You would say that if you ever tried to put Lisa on a plane. She does not fly.
Car.
Yeah, we'll drive. We'll road trip it.
Yeah, road trip.
So do you take all this stuff yourself, or do you have people that help you to do the logistics?
Do I have people? No.
I don't know.
Well, that being said, I mean, the group is small. It's pretty much me and my manager, Linda. So we're a 2-person crew. We always wish for roadies and for crew and for I'm not those other guys on TV. Some of them can afford it. I cannot.
Yeah. No, I didn't know if you had like some sort of sponsor to help you do it or anything like that.
I would love a sponsor. Hey, I mean, I'm always open for it. But that being said, education is not flashy, which is why I have to always kind of hide it within entertainment. And for each exhibition that I put on, there's always a hunt portion to it. So there's always some cool haunted historical place that we'll do an investigation. But I mean, honestly, I wish I could just show up with the exhibit and say, yeah, here's the exhibit, guys, come learn, and that'd be enough. But people want more, so I make sure I provide it.
Excellent.
Trick them into learning.
Exactly. You have to trick them into learning.
Yeah. You need to come over to the UK with your exhibit, or as much of it as you can physically.
If I had Ant-Man technology, I could easily do that. It's funny because wherever I go, if I'm going to New York, I'm going to Rhode Island, I'm going to North Carolina, this is a process. And there will always be people who are like, when you coming to Sheboygan? When you coming to my neighborhood so I don't have to go off my block to visit it? It's easier for them to come to me than me to bring all this stuff. But I mean, I want to get it to all 50 states. And then once I get it to all 50 states, I got to go to Canada. I'm going to have to go over the UK. I would love to get it to different places. So who knows? Who knows what will happen in a few years?
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Well, maybe Andy, when you come in July, you can see it.
Yes. Are you going to Gettysburg? Everyone in July, everybody in the paranormal field is meeting at Gettysburg.
The Battlefield Bash. I'm convincing him to go to the Battlefield Bash this year.
Not everybody.
Because we're going to the Disclosure Conference in Florida.
Nice.
Yep.
What is it? What is full disclosure now?
That is the 12th, 13th for 4 days at St. Petersburg. Is it? Something like I've got it wrote down somewhere, but I don't know where that somewhere is.
Well, by then, I'm hoping to have more legislation in our laws, because it seems like for the past few Decembers, there have been things signed into law in my country that make it easier for people who have had UAP experiences to come forward. There have been budgetary concerns where, all right, where's all this money going? There is now an audit process where if one of the 3-letter agencies has money that's supposed to go to UAP research and they're not doing it, they're going to get audited for it. So now there's going to be tracking where this budget is coming from. And hopefully, as far as disclosure goes, we will get something more than just the little piddly bits we've gotten over the past few years.
Is that the topic of Tuesday Night Bri on Wednesday tonight?
Correct. In a couple of hours, I'm going to be talking about UAPs in the USA, like ROCK in the USA, but with Les Mellencamp.
So Tuesday Night Bri, Brian does for Patreons. It's every other Tuesday?
Every other Tuesday, fortnightly, as I like to say, if I stay on schedule. That's my private broadcast for my Patrons on patreon.com.
Yep. Cool. So, your area of paranormal, where does it end? How deep into these rabbit holes do you go? Because obviously you cover UAPs, UFOs. You go into the cryptids, conspiracy theories. What's your Mandela effect? How widespread do you like to take yourself?
I used to be just a ghost and spirits guy, but ever since getting on Paranormal Caught On Camera, it covers such a wide range of topics that I've really spread into other areas. Ufology, a lot more. A little bit into cryptids, not so much, but I do go into that area. When it comes to conspiracy theories, I mean, that just comes with the territory. There are theories about every area. And the paranormal is an umbrella term encompassing all of these things. Some of them seem absurd. Some of them seem like, this might hold water. It's amazing to me how some of the theories take root. I mean, on the 13th, we had a congressional hearing on UAPs, and we had a representative, an adult who was elected to her position. Now, whether she was joking or not, on the record, she said, Earth is flat. And if I could smack anyone through a TV screen, I would have immediately.
It would have been a...
Like, this is like science exists. Earth is not flat. Yes, we've been lied to about a lot of things, but I don't think that's one of them. But then again, who knows? I could be wrong. Until we all go up in a rocket and look down and say, "Oh snap, it is flat."
Yeah.
And
See,
Earth
but
is
I
not
do.
flat, but is it hollow?
They say that too.
It is.
And
See,
big hollow
this
Earth,
is
are
my
we talking
This is my thing now. So I'm not a flat earther. I can understand some of the arguments of flat earthers. I get all that. Not everything, but I'm more inner earth. Not so much hollow earth, but there is things living under the earth's surface that we maybe do or do not know about.
There's plenty of theories out there about that. I mean, you have your reptilian theories, you have your hollow earth theories, you have your we are not the original species to come to prominence on this planet. There's a lot of it. And again, do we have proof? Maybe. Are we going to experience it ourselves? Probably not. But would you want to know?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know.
I want to know everything.
No, I don't. I'd like to have a guided tour of inner Earth. Yeah. Because I reckon the entrance is going to be Antarctica, because where else would it be? There's going to be more entrances, and my take on that is a lot of these military facilities are built in random locations. So what's not to say that they're built on where there's an entrance into the underground
as a
and all
safeguard,
that. Because that way, if they build it on there, it's immediately shut down to the public, and it's need to know basis.
That's true, but
government officials.
That makes sense. It makes about as much sense as I'm Batman, because you never see me and Batman in the same room at the same time.
Yeah.
I just want to see a Pukwudgie. Then I'll be happy.
I've shown you one.
It's not a Pukwudgie.
It was. And I wasn't there to witness it. I just know the story behind it. So Here's another one. I wasn't there.
All right, we have some more questions. Nickname wants to know, has Brian been to Avebury, Silbury Hill, Long Barrow, etc.?
I don't believe so. I'm guessing these are all in the UK. There's still a lot over there I have to explore, and I'm looking forward to it. I kicked around the UK in 2022. I saw some things, not half as much as I would have liked, so I'm gonna have to schedule a trip back.
Cool. Them places are near Stonehenge, or around that area.
Into Stonehenge, yeah. But Stonehenge, as amazing as it is so touristy. You can't get near it. You can't take a picture without 50 other people in the shot. But after my trip to Wales in 2022, I went with a group of apprentices, and we just literally, we went to it. We went on the outskirts, and we just laid down. We said, okay, let's feel the energy of the earth. Let's see if we could connect with what the ancestors did, even if just for a microsecond. And it got quiet. All the noise went away. Everything just melted into the background, and it was just a very serene moment. So you can still find those moments of Zen out there in these places.
Oh.
I hear a lot of these places are like that, though. The pyramids too. They say like, okay, you're at the pyramids and it's cool, and then you turn around and there's like a Burger King.
There's a Pizza Hut. I saw that video today. There's literally a Pizza Hut across from the pyramids.
It's crazy. You think it's in like this big, vast desert. No, it's in the middle of like a city.
So just imagine when it was being built and they're whipping the slaves and things are getting done, or maybe the aliens are moving the bricks or whatever, and they're like, in 2,000 years, in 5,000 years, there will be a place where we can get bread with cheese and meat on it right here in minutes. We cannot wait. That's why they built the pyramids. They were trying to build a Stargate to now so they could get their pepperoni.
The other way, what if Pizza Hut was already there and they built the pyramids next to it?
Ooh. Pizza Hut is actually from the Pleiades galaxy. That's how we got Pizza Hut, through the Stargate.
Yep. It didn't exist until they built the pyramid and boom.
People do a deep dive into how they built the pyramids, how they built all these other things. They never really look into the conspiracy of who invented pizza. It might have been the aliens. We don't know.
No indeed.
Well, if it was the aliens, it's their fault I'm unhealthy. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm not knocking them for it.
It's harder for you guys, though, because, I mean, when I was over in the UK, the food I ate was better, fresher, less preservatives. I literally felt 10 years younger. My back didn't hurt. I brought Pepto and Excedrin with me, and I didn't need it at all for the entire time, the entire 2 weeks I was there. I was able to move again. I just felt like, yes, I'm alive again. And I get home, and I aged 20 years instantly. And it's our diet. It's what we eat over here.
But the thing is, you have Chick-fil-A, and we don't have anything close to that.
Chick-fil-A is a cult.
It's the greatest food ever eaten by me. And
I'm in New York, so I don't have Chick-fil-A. I have to go to Jersey to get it.
You don't have Chick-fil-A's up by you? No, we got one of them all here.
I was in I was in Connecticut, West Hartford, when I went to Chick-fil-A. I just thought it was worth the full 10 days in America. Trust me. So yeah, definitely worth it.
That's another cult I don't get. I think it's fine. It's chicken.
Didn't like Popeyes, but Chick-fil-A, yeah, every time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We've got some more questions. You beat me to it.
Yeah, you want to do this one?
Yep. So this is from Sober again. Hi, Brian. Have you ever seen any publicly unavailable footage that you have said is genuine and should be available for people to see?
I'm imagining that the gist of this question is something semi-official from official channels or whatnot along the UAP or just Ghost and Spirits line. But I mean, anything that anyone takes, Nicole could take a video and it's publicly unavailable until it is. So yeah, I mean, I've seen plenty. I can't go anywhere without someone going, oh yeah, Brian, hold on a second. I got a video I got to show you. Half an hour ago, this guy was like, hey, hold on, I got a video to show you. So
go find it.
So yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of you. I've seen some ones where I'm just politely like, oh, that's great. Oh, keep capturing. And then some that I'm amazed by. The captures are so crisp and so clear. And on Paranormal Caught On Camera, I see a lot of videos. And what I find is interesting, when the video is old, filmed on Super 8 or High 8, and it's blurry and it's shaky, people are like, oh, that's probably nothing because it's so old. But then you have someone shooting something last week on 8K, and it's crisp and it's clear, and like, oh, that can't be real. It's too crisp. It's too clear. It has to be fake. People, no matter what we're shown, be it something that's public or something that's been out there for a long time, it is on us to choose to believe or not. Because there is no type of evidence. There's no photo I could show you, EVP I could play, video I could play, or anecdote I could relate that would convince you of something you are not ready to believe until you are ready to believe it.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah, that. So following on to that question, have you ever seen any footage, whether it's or even audio, that you've been shown or you've listened to, and it's like, this does not go past your ears or your eyes. After this, it's getting removed.
I don't believe so, because for the most part, we live in the generation of everything is online, all times, instantly.
Yeah.
There's nothing private. There's no shame. There's no discretion. So I feel like anything that gets captured, for the most part, unless there is, and less so in the States, more in the UK, unless there's royal scandal attached to it. I mean, take Jack the Ripper, for example. It's like, all right, I have people who claim they know who he's been for a long time, but because of who it was.
Yes.
Less so in the States. We love to expose our elected leaders to everything under the sun.
Yeah.
No
one cares. No one cares.
No. And then they still stay in office, so.
And they still stay in office. And that person who said Earth is flat was the one who was famously captured on camera in Beetlejuice getting frisky with her boyfriend, which, hey, I have no problem with. Let people be people. What are we fighting for if not to, have fun in Wang Chung tonight? But yeah.
Wow. I have nothing to. I'm actually speechless now.
That's very rare.
We don't have page 3 here. Every page is page 3. So,
right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a lot more restricted, I think, now in the UK for stuff like that. Restriction. As far as I know, not like I've been like delving into anything or stuff like that, but it used to be all over the place, and now it's like nothing, nowhere. It's weird how it's all.
I've seen colleagues cobble together videos, excuse me, where they've shown me clips. They're like, oh, I'm going to put this in a documentary and it's going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be amazing. But again, the audience will get hit with that. I wasn't there. And they either have to choose to believe that investigator or that documentarian or not. And sometimes it becomes entertainment, and sometimes it just falls by the wayside and nobody sees it.
There's a lot of damage in the field when people are putting out like fake evidence or manufactured things, because then it kind of gives everybody less credibility.
I will say there needs to be a focusing of terminology. On social media, I see a lot of people complaining about the field. I'd say a good 80 to 90% of people complaining about the field are not in the field. Having a YouTube channel doesn't put you in the field. Having going on investigations doesn't put you in the field, unless you're doing things a certain way, collecting data, peer review, writing papers, being part of academia. I'm barely in the field, and I've been doing this 22 years. Yeah. We are a community, yes. A field, no. So people need to stop pointing fingers and saying, I'm doing it right, you're doing it wrong. Oh, the field, it's giving the field a bad name. No, it's not. You're being ridiculous. Stop. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems in the community, but again, that's human nature. Every area, be it medicine, be it Hollywood, wherever you go and there are groups of people trying to do something, you're going to get this behavior.
Yeah. So do you think, though, in the paranormal, I won't say field, in the world of the paranormal, that people are put in there to put fake videos or fake knowledge or fake scripts just to try and, what's the word, like divert us away from what's really going on?
You see that in ufology. I mean, again, we've had Project Sign, Project Grudge, Project Blue Book, all geared towards misinformation. You have J. Allen Hynek's famous swamp gas explanation when he was with Blue Book, just to, again, get people off the trail. You have famous stories like Project Serpo that had a lot of seeming fact to it, but then people who were involved, who were known misinformation agents out there to muddle the story so much that we'd never know the difference between truth and manufactured information that I think with ghosts and spirits, we don't really have to. I don't think there's that much onus on a government or a body to need to have fake information, because it's so much more intangible than, say, a flying saucer or something that you can see. Oh, there it is. It's in the sky. Not just, I feel my Uncle Joe. He's here. It's kind of a different area. But I think if there is to be misinformation, like Nicole mentioned, there's a lot of people on YouTube and just putting out fake information because they're using it as a vehicle to get fame or to get clicks or to get likes. And those people get paid. The rest of us putting forward good stuff, I put out a video, I get 64 views on YouTube, and that's it.
But would you rather put out the real stuff and not get paid than put out a load of fake stuff and do it just for the money?
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting out stuff that doesn't get a lot of stuff. But again, education is not flashy. It's not sexy.
No.
But the people who are interested in it find it. And that's
you
my
get the real people.
That's
genuine.
what I'm looking to gather. It's a lot of work to do it the other way. And again, entertainment is entertainment. Education is education. It's up to the consumer to know the difference, to discern for themselves. Because there's nothing wrong with watching the shows and really enjoying them. I find it makes my job harder sometimes, so I can be a little critical of that area. But you know what? It happens everywhere. It happens with crime documentaries. When CSI came out, everyone just assumed, fingerprints and this and that and DNA, and it happens like that. And the courts and the forensics people were like, it doesn't happen the way it does on CSI. Like, stop putting this on us. TV's really doing us a disservice.
Issues with the cat, I'm guessing.
My cat is clearly like, you're not paying attention to me, so
I'm going to destroy the room.
He's causing chaos.
Yeah.
Aww.
That's cat's fire. Right.
I want to make sure we talk about the book before we go. Your book, Grains of Sand. So what is it about?
Hey, there it is. Grains of Sand, Tales of a Paranormal Life. This is my first book. It took me a long time to get out of my own way to get this written. I began my paranormal journey as a skeptic. I did not believe. And you say you saw something? Yeah, I think you're a little nuts. You're crazy. I'm going to find the rational explanation. I'm going to find the logical explanation to what's behind these reports. And starting from the place, from a standpoint of skepticism, I was very blocked off. So I wanted to learn, I wanted to experience, but again, I had blinders on. So every book I read, every case I went on, anywhere, I got mentored. I went on cases. I absorbed as much information as I could, and I kept thinking, all right, the next case that's going to convince me. And each experience was like a grain of sand. By itself, a grain of sand is not very substantial. You look at it and you're like, yeah, this is supposed to convince me? Yeah, I don't think so. Grain after grain after grain, examining. Nope, discarding them. And as the years went on, I felt, okay, I don't think this is going to lead anywhere. But then looking down at my feet, metaphorically speaking, I was standing on a beach made up of all those grains of sand from all those individual experiences. And I had to consider what that meant. So these days, I'm not a believer. I'm a skeptical believer in that I know the phenomena exists. It's the people who report it that I'm skeptical of. And each of the tales in my book is a story about a moment or a time that a lesson was being taught to me, but I didn't see it in the moment. And upon reflection, all right, this is what it was trying to tell me. And there's some scary tales, there's some weird ones, but they're all hopeful.
Yeah.
I like that explanation of it. Like they're all little grains of sand, because you can have so many experiences that you don't really think are anything until you look back on them.
No, it's like my encounters. I just thought there's random encounters till I started doing this and speaking to more people, and you kind of not so much a pattern, but a bit of a connection between each one. I'm not saying every single one is connected, because some of them are just, I think some of them are just random. But I'd say about 6 or 7 that I thought was not connected. I think that they are connected now. But like you say, I could be wrong. I don't know. But so what's the name of the cat?
Neptune. And he's actually my neighbor's cat, but he adopted me, so I'm a cat uncle.
I was gonna say, you keep saying your cat. I was like, I thought it wasn't your cat.
He's over more than he's not these days.
No.
So you'll come in one day and he'll have brought all his stuff and he'll just be living there.
The cat distribution system has chosen you.
The cat distribution, that's the thing. Like, because I travel so much, and when I lost my cat in 2016, I'm like, as much as I would love a cat, it wouldn't be fair for an animal just to be here by itself alone. And then all of a sudden I get neighbors who have 2 cats that they started letting out, and they came straight over here. And I said, oh, wow, this is something like we have fuzzy sleepovers. And, when I come home from a trip, he's at the curb waiting for me. The cat distribution system is giving me as much as I'm able to handle.
Yeah, it was like, you need a cat in your life. We know you can't have a cat, but you need a cat.
Yeah, I get enough of the cat benefits. No litter box and no vet bills.
Fred said his brother had a cat that lived in 3 different houses.
Yeah. Oh yeah, these cats are smart. They've got a grift up and down this block, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They get fed at
eat
each
in one, sleep in the other, and you can guess what it does in the third one. A lot of litter trays. Put it that way. Right. We've got a question, and we've got one about a story that somebody gave us, but I can't be 100% on the story. So I'm not, unless you can remember it, about the time slip in the pub.
Yeah. So this guy walked into a pub, and it was very weird. Everybody was dressed in like old-timey clothes. I guess he went to the bar to order a pint. And
this is in the UK, by the way.
I was waiting for this setup. A priest and a rabbi walk into a bar.
I thought of that when I said that. I was like, oh, this is a bad joke. And the guy didn't even like look at him. He just, gave him the beer, the money. Nobody kind of acknowledged him.
He paid for it with a £5 note, and I don't think he didn't get any change.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's like the bartender kind of like just looked through him, and all this weird stuff went on. But then was it like no one in the pub, or when he bought the beer, then he turned around and the pub was full, something like that. And then something else happened, turned around, and then all these people went and it was empty again.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went out. I can't remember it. I'd have to get Paul back on to
we're telling a really good version of this story right now, right?
It's the crappiest version ever.
Basically, it's like that video you showed me. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So anyway, they got out the pub and they come back later, or a couple of days later, and the pub didn't exist, or it had been shut down for like 80 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the gist of it. He kind of went into like a time slip in the pub, and the pub didn't really exist anymore. And everybody was acting strange when he went in there and dressed in like period clothes.
This feels like the reverse of the usual full-bodied apparitions. Like I have yet to see a full-bodied apparition that I'm aware of, because honestly, when we're walking around, who knows how many of the people in your periphery are walking that you're not interacting with are actually spirit, because you don't talk to them, you're not touching them, you're not verifying that they're real. And I would love to have that large Marge experience where I go into a place, I'm like, yeah, I just got directions from this person. And they're like, oh, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, an old guy with a cap and a bushy beard. Oh, that's old Joe. He's been dead since 1972. I haven't had that yet. So that being said, the fact that we can interact with personalities, with spirit that are here in an individual basis, that sounds like the reverse, that he was an individual who entered. So if anything, he would have been the spirit to those people.
Yeah.
Out of time, misplaced, that had a basic interaction, that they're probably in their time going, yeah, there was this guy wearing this weird stuff. What was that? Oh, who knows?
Yeah.
If it was the past, it was the future. Time is not linear as we experience it. It's all jumbled together. Just again, to prevent us from going mad, our brains, I think it's the pineal gland, allows us to, or the pituitary, one of the gland, something up here allows us to experience time in a linear fashion, so that if it happened all at once, our little lizard monkey brains would not be able to process it all. And this is the problem. This meat suit we're in, this hardware we're in, this thing that we're driving around, spirit, larger, infinite, but we're restricted now. We are limited in this form of what we can experience. So if we're talking about beings on the 5th, 6th, 7th, or higher dimensions, we can't perceive those dimensions. So we'll only ever get a portion of that. So when we're hearing voices but not seeing physical form, that could be because they're 4th dimensional and we're only getting the information that we can receive.
Yeah.
I always wonder about that. Like, are we the ghosts? Or are we the spirits to the spirits we're communicating with? Like, are they hanging out in their time and they're like, who the heck is knocking on the wall?
The movie The Others with Nicole Kidman handles that brilliantly.
Yeah. That is a top movie.
You got to see it, Nicole.
Yes. Because it's like, it's not until right at the end and you're like, oh my God. You don't.
It makes sense.
Clicks. Yeah.
It makes sense, and it's not a twist just for the sake of having it. It's like, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then you've got to watch it again.
Yes.
Straight after. You can't wait.
Like the Sixth Sense, you have to watch it again once you know what's going on.
That was so good.
Yeah.
I saw that movie on the same weekend that I saw the Blair Witch Project, and I hated Blair Witch because it made me physically ill because I had a hard time watching it. But then watching The Sixth Sense and how at the time Shyamalan was not that guy. Everything wasn't a twist, you know. He painted himself into a corner eventually where you're trying to figure out what the twist was. But that one, I am not one of those people who's like, oh yeah, I figured it out right away. Nope. Took me till the end to get it, and then I was like, oh. Yeah. Okay, you watch it a second time, and yeah, you see all the little hints and all the little bits. Great movie.
I love watching movies back like a second or third time, once you can like pick out like all the little clues to what was coming, all the foreshadowing.
Yeah. Well, it was an important movie because it showcased a couple of things. It showcased that the Bruce Willis character wasn't ready to move on, so he was still kind of living his life. He wasn't aware that he was dead. The Haley Joel Osment character saw spirit all the time. Why? Not because he wanted to, but because he could see them. And that's very much the case with people that, yeah, they're going to go to who sees them because they have a message to pass on. They have a story to tell. They just need, they need something. They're not going to ignore people when they themselves have something to interact. And yeah, until he realized, okay, if I help them, then they'll stop bothering me and I don't have to be afraid. That's an important lesson.
Yeah.
Do you think that spirits have that, like, show themselves to investigators, have messages, or you think they're just doing their thing? A little bit of both.
Well, it would depend because, again, this is a classic example of there can be many explanations and they can concurrently be true all at the same time. So if we're talking about stacked time like this bar, all right, right now we're going through our lives. We're on a podcast and we're just doing our thing. If any of us has an experience right now, we would see it as, oh, that was weird. But from the perspective of whatever it was, like, yeah, there were these people talking to these screens. I don't know what they were doing. It might seem alien to them. It might seem foreign. So not every, and that again, this is why there's a concerted difference between ghost and spirit.
Yeah.
Ghost is just the echo, whereas a spirit is a little more forgiving in its definition, because what we consider a spirit might just be a person living in their own time. Spirit does not need necessarily to be dead, does not need to be human. When it comes to ghosts, same thing. Ghost doesn't always need to be a dead person. It's because it's an echo, you could be experiencing a ghost of yourself. You're still alive. The people who report things in their house, they're not sitting there in the basement with a K2 meter waiting for something to happen. They're folding clothes, they're washing dishes. Maybe out of the corner of their eye, they see a shadow move and they turn and it's gone. They might hear whispering, they might hear sounds. They'll never be able to talk to it or communicate with it because it's not a spirit. It's just them, their energy getting cast off that might be coalescing into something that has enough mass to present. And these are things that, again, multiple states can be true within one house. So yeah, you might have an actual spirit, but you could have ghosts too.
That's something to look into. Yeah.
I don't want to encounter my own ghost when I'm folding laundry. That's not a fun thought.
And you're both still alive.
I mean, in the same way that, if you called me and left a message, I play back the message, I hear your voice. That's not you, but it's the echo of you.
Yeah.
We're constantly leaving bits of ourselves everywhere at all times. And when a certain energy threshold passes an event horizon that, it's going to cross a level so that it can be perceived. Yeah, I mean, we're leaving energy behind all the time, but we don't pick up on it until there's enough of it or it's a certain type.
Yeah,
that's extreme happiness, but usually it's always negative, like the anger, the sadness, the rage that seems to be more
heightened emotion.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when you can tell when like two people had a fight and then they leave the room, you can be like, "Oh, what happened in here?"
You feel it.
Yeah. Well, killing you, trying to cut your way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened a few times. But it's like, if you go into a property, and even if you've gone in and everything seems all right, you can feel something in the air that isn't right. You can pick up on that negativity or that bad energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think everyone can do that. I think everyone's got the ability.
Oh, absolutely. Just becomes about identifying. Just like some people have better eyesight, better hearing, more sophisticated tastes. Everyone has the ability to perceive these things. I mean, we don't just have five senses. The five senses as we know them were just the agreed upon. Well, we have to have five. We can't have 27. It's too many. These are the basics, and these are the most prevalent ones. I mean, when you're hungry, you feel like you're hungry. What sense is that? There's plenty of senses that we have that, again, keep our body running, keep the information flowing. I have the cat sense. I know he's looking at me right now. It's just our brain trying to process information coming in.
Yep. The cat's like, "Where's my food? I might have to go to another house."
Aw, poor kitty.
Right, we are coming up to the end of time. That sounds wrong, but we're coming up to the end of the show, unfortunately.
Time doesn't exist.
No, but yeah.
So
you tell YouTube that.
Is Brian's website, neverstopsearching.com. Right, so you can find all your stuff on there, right? Your link to your book, link to your events coming up.
All the things.
All the things, everything.
There we go. Events.
And definitely check out my History of the Paranormal mobile exhibit coming to Raleigh, North Carolina on March 14th through the 16th, 2025. It's going to be the first one of that year. I hope to have a few more. I want to do one a quarter, but again, I'm going state for state. So if you're anywhere near the area, come on down.
Yep. Even if you're not, just go there.
Just go there.
Yep.
Just do it.
Just go there. North Carolina is beautiful in some places that weren't ravaged by a hurricane.
Yes, exactly.
Raleigh's fine. Right. Raleigh's good.
And there's the book again. Tales of a Paranormal Life, Grains of Sand.
Available on Amazon or wherever you get your books.
Perfect.
Is that an AI picture, or is that like an actual like?
No, it's a composited picture. The shot is of me during the Pathways filming. The stone structure behind me is something that I got from somewhere else, and the background is actually from White Hill Mansion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was sunset one day. I took the picture and said, "This is nice."
Yeah.
And because my publisher wanted to make just some stereotypical, horrible looking, ooh, scary, spooky, it's paranormal cover, I'm like, no, let me do the cover. And
I have a nice sunset that I can use.
Yeah, because again, for me, it's about hope. Not everything is spooky and scary, and even though we do encounter those elements, we have to look for that silver lining within it. And what is it going to teach us?
Yeah. That was why I changed the intro and outro. Give it a bit more upbeat music than the spooky, stereotypical sort of stuff. Thought, I need to make it a bit more enjoyable, should we say?
And now everybody dances during the intro and the outro.
Yeah. So, and I like it, so that's all that matters.
Speaking of outro.
Yes, we've come up to the end of the show.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate it.
And thank you, Neptune, for making a guest appearance.
Meow.
Twice.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, your update, Andy.
Yeah, so I was just going to say good luck with the book, good luck with the tour and the events that you're doing in March.
Thank you.
Hope everything works well. First update, we are getting rid of Mondays, not off the calendar, I wish. We're not doing a Monday show anymore. The last one is going to be the 9th of December. So we've got next Monday, we've got Mark Holly coming back on. Nothing the following Monday. Then we've got this guy called Ian Gossett coming on the 9th of December. He's based in Atlanta, Georgia. It's someone that Baby with a Laser was talking to. He's going to come on, and he's got a lot of theories and stuff that he's put together. So he's going to be coming on talking about that. After that, we are not doing any more Mondays because I need more time to do editing and going out investigating. And speaking of investigating, I'm not going to be doing any more investigations on this channel. I'm going to open a completely new channel on YouTube for investigations only. I don't think there's going to be any live ones on there. They're all going to be pre-recorded, edited, get rid of all the crappy bits, boring bits in the middle. So it might end up with nothing on there. It just depends what evidence we get when we go out. So we've got that. And on Friday we have Ed and Josh coming on of Myths and Mysteries Black and White podcast. So they're our guests this Friday. And that's it, I think, for now.
Perfect.
So thank you so much again.
Friday.
Yes. Oh, and thank you to everyone who's listening to this on podcast. It does go out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the others. But they seem to be closing loads of podcasts at the moment. Samsung are getting rid of theirs. Google have got rid of one of theirs as well. So that's it. So stick with Apple and Spotify. So thank you, Brian. Thank you, Nicole. And we'll catch you on Friday, same time. So take care and see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.